Hello and welcome to Off Your Soccer. I'm Rich Lewis and time is my enemy this week. So we're going to have a very quick roundup of last weekend's Premier League action. We're going to have a look at the top three games in my opinion at least anyway. Starting at number 3, counting down all the way to 1, but starting at number 3, Wolves 1, Newcastle 2. This gets it for me because of that Tyneside tenacity. Newcastle coming back from a goal down, Wolves playing not too badly at all. Newcastle, though, found a way to win. And that's going to be very big for them this season in terms of their aspirations, coming off the back of a really good victory against Tottenham as well. You've got to follow that up with another one if you've got ambitions, maybe even of getting into the top 4 again. And to go to the Molineux and pick up the victory in the manner that they did against a Wolves team who, people have written off this year, but they played pretty solid, to be fair. It was a fantastic result for Newcastle, and I think that's going to set them up maybe for, to build up some proper momentum now. At 2, purely because of the magnitude of the result for me, Liverpool 0, Nottingham Forest 1. This is a massive wake-up call for Arne Slot. Liverpool have had it pretty easy at the start of the season. They performed really well. It's almost been a seamless transition from Klopp to Slot. Nothing to worry about at all. But you have to wonder, will this put a little bit of a seed of doubt in the players' heads that maybe this isn't going to be as straightforward as they may well have been finding it up until now? On the other hand, where Nottingham Forest are concerned, I'd said in one of the shows, I think it was a couple of weeks ago, you can't underestimate the attacking quality that Nottingham Forest have put together. And if these guys reach their potential or refined some of their form and ability that they've shown in years gone by, especially in the case of Callum Hudson-Odoi, then the Forest are going to be a really difficult proposition for a lot of teams this season. To be able to go to the bench and bring on a former Manchester United and former Chelsea player, there aren't a lot of teams who can do that. And we're not talking about players who are over the hill. We're talking about players who are still arguably on the ascendancy as well. Adding that to Morgan Gibbs-White, he was their talisman effectively. There could be potentially good things to happen to Forest this season yet, and they are still unbeaten. At number 1, they have made this spot their own for all the wrong reasons. It's Everton again, but they were on the end of another 3-2 defeat to Aston Villa. Double deja blue for Everton. The game, in all fairness to them, could have gone either way. Both teams had chances to score multiple goals. The biggest, obviously, one that everyone's been talking about was the Dominic Calvert-Lewin chance, which would have given Everton a 3-1 lead, and he really, really should have scored. He didn't. And obviously, we know how that ended up. It ended up with a fantastic shot from John Duran. Villa have been very fortunate to be able to hang on to him after it looked almost certain that he was going to move for PSR purposes. But they've kept him there, and he started the season in great form. And we saw flickers last season, moments of his ability, and other times maybe he wasn't showing his true full potential. But I think we're starting to maybe see him fulfilling some of that potential, and that is a scary prospect. If Villa can add him to, as a true alternative option to Ollie Watkins, that is some exciting stuff. Great for Ollie Watkins too to get a couple of goals, although he was guilty of missing some great chances himself. Everton hit the woodwork too through Calvert-Lewin. The game could have really gone either way. Unfortunately for Everton, it went Aston Villa's way, and they are still searching for a win this season. A quick roundup now of the other games who didn't quite make the top 3. Tottenham 0, Arsenal 1. This was a game which I thought Tottenham mostly dominated, but they just seemed to lack some creativity and invention. It just felt like, as a United fan, I was getting a bit of PTSD back to the David Moyes era of crosses being flung into the box with no real rhyme or reason. And even though Tottenham were on top, they didn't genuinely feel like they were going to score to me. However, I didn't think Arsenal were either, but they are strong at set pieces. Tottenham are weak, and inevitably that's where the difference was going to be made, if it was going to be made at all. and it was Gabriel with the header and a massive 3 points for Arsenal. Brighton 0, Ipswich 0. Don't know how Brighton didn't score in this game. That being said, Ipswich via the lap hit the post and they could have nicked the 3 points there, but it was a decent-ish performance from Brighton. But again, that is a massive opportunity lost there to pick up 3 points against a newly promoted side. And on the flip side of that, a big point for Ipswich as well. Crystal Palace 2, Leicester 2. Great to see Jamie Vardy pick up another goal. He doesn't look like he's been away. He looked like sort of prime Jamie Vardy the way he took that first goal. Leicester got themselves 2-0 up, and they're going to be massively disappointed to throw that away. In the context of the season, away to Crystal Palace, a point is a very good point. But in the context of the game, to have conceded such a late equaliser too, they are going to be massively disappointed with that result, having been in such a strong position. Fulham 1, West Ham 1. I think I've got a little predictor league with some of my friends, and not been doing too great so far this season, but this one was, I think a lot of people would have called 1-1 for this. They're two pretty well-matched sides. Fulham have done some great business in the transfer market, as of West Ham, and you just felt beforehand this game could really go either way, and they did split the points in the end. A really late goal, though, it took from Danny Ings to do that for West Ham. I don't think either team will be massively happy or disappointed with that result, really. Manchester City 2, Brentford 1. Brentford caused City some problems. Obviously they got I think it's the quickest goal Man City have ever conceded in the Premier League. So that's a nice feather in Brentford's cap. But Erling Haaland is inevitable. You just can't stop the guy at the moment. And it was to be honest, for Brentford to limit it to 2-1, they did very, very well. They could have maybe got more than the one themselves, but Haaland could have definitely got more than the two he got, and he was so unlucky to not get the 3 consecutive hat-tricks, which has never been done before in the Premier League. He came very, very close to doing it, and I'm definitely not going to rule out him doing that before his Manchester City career comes to an end at some point in the future. Bournemouth 0, Chelsea 1, a game with more cards than a birthday party. It was ridiculous, really, on the yellow card front. Both teams had chances in this game. A fantastic attempt from Tavernier, which hit the woodwork for Bournemouth too. They also hit the woodwork late on. Chelsea had multiple chances to score more goals themselves too. But it did take that late Nkunku goal to make the difference, and that'd be a big 3 points as well for Chelsea away from home to Bournemouth. Now for Southampton versus Manchester United, go and check out my You've Only Come to Hear Manchester United podcast. If you like what you hear now, please give us a like or a subscribe. Again though, Manchester United, Southampton, check out the You've Only Come to Hear United podcast and the playlist too. Plenty more videos there, and I will catch you soon.